Hey everybody, Tony D and little Joan here, who won't sit in her seat, um, with some your rigged election update. Shredding company shredding ballots calls police. Oh, via attorney Lin Wood. Georgia woman witnesses shredding company shredding ballots, calls police, films shredding and recycling company destroying evidence at elections office in Cobb County. Now this is a bit hyperbolic because I don't think the video really shows that. It just shows she's just, this is the company and the truck's driving away. I mean, she doesn't have any actual footage of the shredding. I'm not seeing. This is just her following the truck or whatever. Um, but this is attorney Lin Wood, who's very much on the fighting back for Trump. He's also the attorney for the Covington kids and Kyle Rittenhouse, who just got out of jail. He was released on, I think, $2 million bail. So good for Lin Wood. I don't know how real the shredding is. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it sounds like something people would do. But the one thing we got to talk about in this election, which seems to be controversial in the comments, is the Scytl raid or Scytl raid or whatever, however you pronounce it. Everybody's saying, "Oh, there's nothing in there. There's nothing in it." Well, look, I don't know. I don't live in Frankfurt, Germany, dude. I just read an article and was talking about. I'm not seeing any. Here's the thing: they said this raid happened. I would think the German government, if this did not happen, would come out with a statement saying, no one raided anything. We're Germany and we know Germany. But nothing like that's come out yet. Now, Sidney Powell, apparently, according to Gateway Pundit, weighed in on the Dominion Smart Tech servers that were reportedly confiscated in Germany. Now, I believe this was from the press conference yesterday. The reporter asked, there were reports of a piece of hardware, possibly a server, was picked up in Germany. Is that true? And is it related to this? Sidney said, that is true. It is somehow related to this, but I do not know if the good guys got it or the bad guys got it. So that was the exact quote. Later this evening, Sidney Powell joined Lou Dobbs and was asked again about the Scytl raid in Germany. Sidney disclosed more on the incident last night with Lou Dobbs saying there is, quote, should be scads of evidence of, frankly, an international criminal conspiracy of the worst sort. This morning, Powell went on Glenn Beck. Powell told Glenn the servers from Scytl in Germany were in fact confiscated. Quote, I am hearing it was our forces that got the servers. Sidney Powell says, the servers from Scytl were confiscated the other day. I'm hearing it was our forces that got those servers, so I think the government is now working on an investigation of what really happened. Okay? So she's saying they have them. Now, does that mean she's lying? She might be. But, I mean, slowly becoming more real. Again, this is what's happened a million times. How many times do you got to go through this? Every time Trump says some crazy thing or something that sounds crazy at the time, and then a few days later something comes out about it, and then a few days later something else comes out, and then the next thing you know, it turns out Trump was 100% right. So, I mean, that's been the pattern. So, I don't think it's an outrage to say, oh, look, it looks like they raided a place in Germany and got these servers. It seems to me that sounds more likely true than false now, but it could still be false. If true, this may explain Dominion's recent actions. Earlier today, they refused to testify before the Pennsylvania House Committee, and last night they reportedly lawyered up. So there you have it. So Sidney Powell says there's something to that. Sounds like the raid happened. It's not that far-fetched. I got a guy arguing with me he's arguing about the history of Spain and all this other stuff, and I'm just like, dude, is it that big of a stretch to think that the U.S. government, which does pretty much anything it wants, it has intimidated allies and enemies alike for many, many decades, would just call up the German government and say, hey, we want to raid this place. And the German government, what's the German government going to say? They probably say, why? And they'll give them some explanation. Well, we want to get these guys before they have a chance to destroy any evidence. Like, these are our allies. The Germans will probably go, oh, okay. Like, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they just go, sure, we'll send some of our guys and we'll fill out the paperwork and it'll all be legal? I mean, does that sound weird to you? You know, it might not be every day that this happens, but if the U.S. government calls you, and you know, the guy in the comments is arguing like the EU can push the United States around or something. EU can't push the United States around. For some reason, he was arguing about Spain. I don't know why. Because, I mean, I guess because supposedly Scytl was located in Spain and is a Spanish company, but according to some, their servers are in Germany. Now, maybe it's not Scytl servers exactly. Maybe it's a backup server that they got. Maybe they moved it. Maybe they had one in Frankfurt, Germany, just to keep things out of Spain. You know, Spain wasn't exactly stable. I think wasn't it 2 years ago that they were going through some sort of big political upheaval where half the country wanted to secede. This guy's arguing with me. Oh, you know, the EU is so strong, and they're, you know, he just went on, and I was just like, dude, I'm not even here to talk about the EU. The EU blows, by the way. I mean, there's a reason the Brits left. In case you haven't heard, the Brits left, and they're going to be doing fine. Thank you very much. They could be doing better if they just would step on the damn gas, but you know, they got a lot of problems with their own commies over there. So, what are you going to do? But this would seem to confirm at least a little bit that at least Sidney Powell believes that something happened. And, okay, I mean, she could be lying about it, and it could have been made up. I mean, seems like a big coincidence. Seems like she's an awfully high-powered attorney to lie about something like that. And if she is lying about it, why? What does she hope to gain by that exactly? I'm not sure what I see as a gain here. You know, you can maybe argue, well, it's a gain for the general public to get the general public on her side. But that doesn't do her any good in court, really. You know, it would have to be a much bigger splash, and it's not like mainstream news is even covering this stuff. They haven't covered this at all. So, is it a thing? I think a raid probably happened. Was it Scytl? I don't know. Now, Scytl says, oh, we don't have any servers there. Okay. Should we just take their word for it? Aren't they the company in trouble? Don't you want to hear from the German government? I haven't heard word one from the German government. Whether or not this raid happened, whether or not Scytl is in some sort of trouble with the Germans. I haven't heard anything from Trump. I haven't heard anything from anybody. I would imagine if the explosive evidence is on a server like this, they wouldn't want that server and the information spread around. You know? So my advice is just be patient at this point. I mean, there's only so much they're going to tell you before the court hearings. And the good news is we're going to hear those court hearings soon because they have to get the case together like tomorrow. They have to go to court sooner rather than later. They have to beat the deadlines and either jam up the entire election or, throw caution into the wind and hope Biden decides to investigate this. I kind of think it'll all be swept under the rug if he got into power. Don't you agree? Don't you think Biden would just go, oh, there's nothing to see here. yeah, let's not waste any money on this. This is all a conspiracy theory. You know, even if you believe, okay, there was no fraud in the election, fine. But there are complaints about fraud in the election. There are complaints about irregularities. Don't you think those should be investigated? When election officials come out and say, this is the most secure election ever, and this is the one where we got the most complaints, don't you see a little something wrong with that? You know, that it is possible that Trump cheated, right? It's possible Trump cheated. It's possible Biden won Texas. It's possible Biden won Florida. And why wouldn't the Democrats want to just have the audit now? See, the faster they do an audit, the more likely it is Biden would be confirmed, if in fact those votes are all legit. So why aren't the Democrats saying, yes, go forward. We totally agree to this audit. We totally agree to hand counts, and we'll help and we'll contribute some money. They're not doing that. Right now, Biden's trying to raise money to, I don't know what exactly. He's raising money for the office of the president-elect, which is not a thing, and he's not the president-elect yet. The president-elect has to be certified. So it looks very official when he's standing in front of the president-elect Joe Biden thing, but it's not official. They made that up for him. The president-elect is a term to use when somebody is officially going to be the next president. He's not the president until he's sworn in on January 20th. So when Obama won, he was the president-elect because Mitt Romney conceded. When Bush was the president-elect, that was only after Al Gore had investigated his situation because everybody wanted him to, not because he wanted to. And then when Al Gore conceded officially and the controversy was considered over, the Supreme Court ruled, at that point, Bush was the president-elect until he was sworn in on January 20th. So for about a month. Biden isn't the president-elect. So putting that on a sign behind him, I mean, you might as well put president. You might as well put Grand Poobah. He's not any of those things. Not yet. So I don't know why well, I know why they're doing it. They're trying to just get everybody used to the idea that, yes, Joe Biden's your president. So if Trump does succeed, even in just in part with his various lawsuits and whatnot, you know what the scenario is going to be. You know the media is going to come, oh, stolen election! Stolen election! He's not my president! Joe Biden's my president, everybody! Yeah. And Trump will get in, and inside of a year, Biden's going to disappear from public life because I can't imagine he's not going to deteriorate even faster. Maybe he won't because he'll be more rested, but you know, these things kind of go quickly, and the guy is 78 years old. So I think probably within a year or two, you know, you're not going to see him in public life anymore, which is probably a good thing for his supporters because at least they won't have to deal with his many, many gaffes. He just had another big gaffe. He went off teleprompter and babbled a bunch of nonsense in front of people. I mean, it's getting very scary. I mean, if, you know, they can't replace him enough. Let's be honest. They're going to replace him. The moment he gets in, he might sign off on a bunch of things for a few weeks, and then it's going to be 25th Amendment. Let's get you out of here, Joe. Into the old president's home. Kamala Harris. Oh, look, everybody. Our first black female president. Now everything will be perfect. Look how woke we are as a country. It's a great day. Yeah, she's probably not going to be president, so I hate to tell you. Trump's got to play, and it's going to happen. It's happening.